rising, rich noon, rich setting, Tobela, Legai, Rona, Abshini. Wow, I recorded this whole thing, entire thing, almost 30 minutes talking, and the video didn't show. So it's fine. Everything happens for a reason, y'all. So I wanted to talk about how, like, okay, so I'm turning, shit, I forgot. Oh, it's fine. I'm turning 35 in a few days, right? And I was looking at the energy of the number 35 and what happens in the cosmos at the age of 35, and how, strangely enough, this country that I live in, which I've never really thought was very astrological, it's quite astrological. And it's crazy because it might not even be something that they might have been looking at astrologically. It might have been something that somebody just told them to do and they were like, shot, you know? But it is so aligned, it's actually quite insane. So anyway, at 35 in South Africa, it's basically the last year or last age that you are considered a youth, right? And for me, it has felt like, it almost felt like how it feels to leave your family home, how it feels to start your own family and get your own place and buy your own car and have your own things and stuff like that. It just feels it feels a bit more on the emotional and spiritual side where the disconnect is happening, because in a sense, before you turn 35, child, you still going to your mom's, and I'm pretty sure there's people who are older than 35 who are still doing it as well, but that's a time that you're still going to your mom. You might be asking for money, you might be asking for advice, help, you know. She's still technically your safe space. And then when you turn 35, you technically become your own safe space. So yeah. So I wanted to speak of it in terms of the human design gate that is 35, the numerology number 35 and Chaldean numerology, as well as just looking at everything that it connects to. So if we really look at the numbers 35, so 3 has to do with the collective in a sense, or with working together creatively. Because remember, the 1 is self, the 2 is partnerships, and then the 3 is almost like a party. I don't know if you've seen the 3 of Cups in tarot. It's a party. When 3 come together, it becomes a party, right? When 2 come together, it becomes more of just a conversation, where when 3 is, there's different angles to look at, like the triangle, you know, that is different energies from the right to the left to the top. Okay. And then the 5 has to do with change. It has to do with change that you can see, change that you can feel, right? Put them together, 3 and 5 equals 8. 8 is the house of, let me just, so 8 is the energy of rebirth. It's the energy of profound transformation, shared resources, inheritances, and deep intimacy, right? So that does give you a little bit of the energy of the 3. So deep intimacy in 2 becomes a sexual relationship. Deep intimacy within the 3 becomes creative endeavors and energy, right? So that's actually quite interesting to think about. And then change within those kinds of things. But it's basically just about change, right? And then the 8th house, is that all it says about the 8th house? Yeah, okay. Then the perfection year that you go through when you turn 35 is the 11th house. No, it's the 12th house, sorry. Remember, the 12th house is the last house, so it is like ending a cycle. It's about wrapping it up completing it. Like I said, 35 is technically the last year of being a youth, so you're wrapping it up. You're packing up your shit. You're packing it all up, and you're allowing yourself to see the kind of person you want to be when you get back into your first house, which is at the age of 36. The 12th house has to do with the subconscious mind, hidden realms, and the spiritual liberation. It also has to do with intuition, the inner mind, and the way we think. People are loud. Anyway, and the way we think. Okay? So those are the energies that we'll be looking into. Like, when you go into the 12th house, you kind of retreat, you become a hermit, you learn more about yourself, you understand more about yourself, where it is that you need to unlearn certain things, where it is that you need to build up certain things and become a certain way for yourself. So I believe that it all aligns, the 8th house and the 12th house being together in that. Okay, then the thing that I was saying, where I was saying that it has to do with like removing yourself from it is a Saturn square, so it's your third Saturn square, I believe it is, and it's where you're moving away from comfort in a sense. So at the age of 7, you don't entirely remove yourself from your family, but you remove yourself from just focusing on your parents or that nurturing space, so you can understand yourself as an individual within a space of other people and not just your home. Whereas now, you have been doing that for many years, but now it's a thing of detaching from the heart space or the home or wherever you would have considered home, in that sense, whether it is the emotional connection with your mother, not that it's going to disappear completely, but that you are probably less likely to need advice. It'll be more of a friendly interaction, because now you're not just an young adult with a young mind. You are an adult. You are becoming what she is. You are becoming the next matriarch. And while she is the current matriarch, you are learning from what it is that you need to understand in your own life, so you can become the example that you need to be. Anyway, so yes, when you're 35 to 37, it is your Jupiter return. So I'm currently in my Jupiter return. And then there's also a nodal return, so that is actually quite interesting. Remember the North Node and the South Node, remember, it reminds us of where we are going and where we come from. So North Node is about building, South Node is about what has already happened. So it can also do with your family, your ancestral lineage, your history, whereas the North Node is more your future and what you're building going forward. And then obviously I explained the Saturn square. Okay, then in human design, the gate 35 is the gate of progress and the hungry heart. Okay, this is the energy of, because remember at 35 you are now figuring out what it is that exactly you want. So this, to me, would be the best time to be able to make a choice in terms of children, marriage, home. Like, are you buying a house? Are you buying a car? Are you, like, yes, you can have those certain things have happened in your life before, but I think this is a time where it's a little clearer. The fog of other people's expectations, other people's ways of living, and everything that you've picked up from them completely falls away, especially if you were able to learn from it. And the progress happens when you are able to understand that, listen, I don't have to fold to what other people think. I don't have to do what other people think. I need to follow myself. I need to work with what has been given to me. Because remember, as humans, as much as, yes, there's NPCs and all of this, there is still that aspect of being able to understand that you are connected, right? Unpopular belief, I still believe that NPCs are connected. I just think that the difference is that NPCs are still just living life blindly, whereas the rest of us have started to realize, oh shit, we're in a game, yo. Figure out the cheat codes, figure out which way to go, and figure out, like, really understand what your intuition is telling you. Like, when the numbers show up, when the synchronicities happen, when you have conversations, when you meet new people and mentors and all of that, opening yourself up to understanding what it is they're trying to mirror towards you, you know, understanding that it's not just you that's living in this life, understanding that God is like a hive mind, and if you don't do your part to upgrade that energy of God, because remember, you are God experiencing it, human life, and in order to understand human life, you have to experience it as a God. You can't be a God above everything and not experience something at a certain level, because you won't, yes, all-knowing, omnipresent, everything, but some things need experience, right? I know. Anyway, Gate 35 is the gate of progress, the hungry heart. It's located in the throat center. Now remember, the throat center has to do with what you create. So words create. Now, we already know this by the Bible. We already know this by the fact that reality is basically sound waves. So sound waves are literally your throat, right? Your throat center is what creates everything that you see around you. So that's why a lot of us who have defined throat centers, we need to always focus on what it is that we are saying out loud. Especially anything that's happening in the mind, you can respond to it out loud and contradict it to work out for you better. Okay? Anyway, the throat center and embodies the drive for change, curiosity, and new experiences. It governs the need to taste life in all forms, acting on the wisdom that the journey itself is the primary purpose rather than the destination. So that reminds you that we need to live in the now. We're living in this experience. Remember, the present is the only thing that is available in life. It's the only thing that is real. The future is happening now. The past is happening now. So wherever you are right now, whatever you see, whatever you experience, it has more to do with your frequency and your energy and the timeline and the space that you are in, that your mindset is in. But there will always be a version of yourself in a different space, time, and place, because all the timelines are like this. Whether you are young, whether you are in another life, whether you are a god, whether, no matter, it's all in the same place. We just can't see it. Okay. Then the shadow of the specific gate is hunger, an insatiable yearning or impatience that leads to constantly chasing the next exciting thing. Now that, to me, is the energy of being younger. Especially in my 20s, I had this, where it was a continuous chase. Like excitement, that's all you wanted, continuous chase. You forget that actually it's okay to be within whatever's going on right now, whether it feels bad or not. Because remember, everything is energy, right? And because everything is energy, there will always be the dualistic energy of yin and yang, female, male. And that's all already within you, black and white, light and dark, it's all there, right? The same way I can access my love and my light, I can access the darkness within me as well. And I choose which version of myself will be available to people on a daily basis, right? Anyway, the gift of this key is adventure. Shifting from the desperation of not having enough to embracing curiosity and the thrill of the lived experience. right? So this is basically about being grateful. It's about being able to notice where you are right now. Remember that where you are right now is something that you prayed for, something that you hoped for, right? And this is where you can, this is where you will understand how aligned it becomes to everything else. You become aligned by understanding that, okay, cool, this is where I'm at. Why am I here? Okay. Neuro-knowledge speaks on egregores. Egregores are basically beings or spirits or whatever you want to call it that are created to... They're created with the emotions that you have. They're created with the experiences that you have and all of that. And the more you focus on them, because remember, everything, when you put water on something or you focus on something, the more it grows, right? So if I focus on one specific plant, water it and love it and show it care, it will grow more, right? Where the other one, if you're leaving it, just go. So if you're looking at the bad, or what you consider to be the bad, that becomes a mountain, your fear, right? And it becomes almost like you can't pass it or fix it, right? Where faith is the opposite of fear. It's the two sides of one coin. It's the same energy, just different frequencies. So technically, the fear is the mountain, where the faith is you being able to completely erase the mountain without having to do anything, just believing that it's gone. So think of it this way. If, say, for example, you grew up being told that money doesn't grow on trees, right? And then you see rich people who can do anything that they want, and you see poverty-stricken people who are within the depths of honestly not being able to fully align themselves to won't be able to allow themselves to be fully aligned to who they want to be. Think of it this way. If I believe that if I don't know the foundation of money, for example, or if I don't know the foundation of energy, what happens is I won't understand what it means to trade. I won't understand that, okay, so for the energy of, say, 2 million to come to me, or a house that costs 2 million, because remember, it's not the money specifically that you want. Energy spoke of this before, where she said that money, there is not enough money in the world to make up for all of the things that rich people currently want and what we all believe we deserve and what we are striving for. There's not enough money, and there could never be enough money. There's not enough paper or linen or whatever they use to create money, like actual physical cash. Think of money more like energy and numbers and frequencies working together. So if you align yourself to the frequency of a 2 million rand house, that would be a $200,000, maybe $150,000 house. You need to allow yourself to believe that that energy aligns to who you are. That you are the person who can walk into that house and feel comfortable and happy, and not as if you owe anyone anything. That you feel like you deserve, that you don't feel like you're making anybody. Because remember, there's a lot of triggers that happen, especially when we believe certain things about ourselves. Those things are big mountains. It's fear, remember. So fear stops us from starting things. Fear stops us from continuing things or ending things, right? And that becomes an issue. Because if we are unable to actually look at things for what they are, then we won't be able to actually completely allow ourselves to get into a good money mindset. Busi Selesho is a beautiful, beautiful teacher when it comes to this. I still actually need to buy her book. Oh my God. But she's a beautiful teacher because she understands that money is energy. And energy, and that energy of money has to do with how you believe in yourself, how you believe of yourself. And what you believe you deserve in this life, right? Mm-hmm. And we forget that there's certain things that might hold us back. So think of it this way. The universe has a lot of secrets, right? The universe has different laws and ways to go around these laws. Like I said, this is our game, right? So these kinds of things, these tricks or these ways of living are things that certain people already know. Some people intuitively know them. Some people, it needs to be brought to your attention, because if you knew about it and you started using it, you might use it incorrectly. But then again, we go back to the fact that everything is energy, right? And even bad people can make money. Even bad people can get what they want. They just need to be in resonance with what it is that they want. Anyway. Okay, so numerology, the energy is, the archetype is the chieftain for number 35, and the vibration, remember I said it reduces to the number 8. The planet that governs the number 8 is Saturn. Oh yes, I was speaking of the 8th house. The 8th house is ruled by numerology. I forgot to tell you that. It's ruled by numerology. The 8th house is ruled by Scorpio. Okay. So Scorpio, like Aquarius, is almost like a jewel sign. Where Aquarius is considered more of a watery air sign. So I consider them like dew. Like, in the morning, that dew that you see on... not even dew, like humidity. I consider them to be like mist. I consider them to be capturable. That's not a word. They can't be fixed. They can't be like kept in a box. You understand? And then for me, Scorpio. The ones who said it was the podcast Sagittarius. I'll write it down. But they were speaking on... No, I actually just put the pictures of the stuff. It's fine. I'll put Nero, I'll put energy, and I'll put that. So what usually happens is literally... I lost my train of thought. Oh yes, Scorpio is a water fire sign, or a fire water sign. Let's say it like that. It's technically a water sign, right? But it's got that fiery energy in it. Why? 8th house. And then you think of the fact that Scorpio is, its actual like animal is a scorpion, right? That is, it's actually so interesting. But yeah, I think of Scorpios as like hot springs, natural hot springs, not just like boiling water, as like natural hot springs that got to a space where there was friction but were able to hold themselves together as water and be like, yeah, I is here, okay. And then the 12th house is the perfection of, remember that that's a Pisces house, so that's all the emotions, so you can feel absolutely everything. That's almost like a reflector. You feel everything, child. You're gonna feel it. All of it. Anyway, let me read this. Okay. The number 35 gives lessons of strength, influence, and personal power. When balanced, you are a good chieftain who protects and stands up for those around you, or specific causes to protect vulnerable groups of people or animals. So to me, this also feels like a time. Remember I said you are getting back into yourself. You are getting back to who you came here to be. So at 35, it might mean that now you are in your purpose, that wherever you sit or wherever you place yourself, it'll be a space where you are able to assist certain causes, even if it's not what people consider to be charity work. You could be the person who assists people with advice within the company, and that is helpful in itself. Protect vulnerable groups, people or animals. Money, prosperity, power, and influence fascinate the 35 because their life lesson is about acknowledging these things. But it's a bit like a child might be fascinated by a weapon, that it avoids it out of fear. That's what I was talking about, of the fear, that right now it's a time where now we look at fear and we face it. We face it because we remember that this fear was built on illusion. These fears were built on other people's beliefs. Now we allow ourselves to understand, okay, our triggers, why are they like this? And are these certain beliefs of other people's our beliefs or not? And you can feel it in your gut. You can feel it in your intuition. Is this correct or not? It's the same when you get a reading. If somebody gives you a reading, you need to be able to understand from where they're reading it from. I, as a reader, I'm hopeful. I have hope motivation. So I will always give you the more hopeful side of what an outcome can give. However, if your energy field is that of fear and is supposed to not necessarily look at fear or be scared, but be more of a person who finds solutions, then you would notice the solutions within whatever hope I have given you. That's it. That's all we need to understand. It's not necessarily that people are wrong. It's more that you need to be able to see yourself within them. You should be able to see what it is that they're trying to tell you without you completely taking it as them. Because remember, we all have different ways to view life, and we all have different ways to understand the lessons and the abundance. So even though there may be a soft surface or personality, there is an interior deeply preoccupied with success and power. This desire is sometimes suppressed. So the person with 35 can be surprised and afraid of this internal drive when it sees it. Yeah. Okay, that's the only part I wanted to speak on. But yeah, that is my 2 cents. Oh yes, the last thing that I did realize is that the closer that you get to 35 is the more mentors that you get, and it's the more open-minded you need to become, because remember, you are molding yourself into the person that you want to be in this life. You are molding yourself into the person you want to be proud of in this life, the person your family, parents, siblings, friends, children, partners, that they can look at you and be like, yes, I chose correctly. Because while I am fixing myself and improving myself, you're doing the same. And that's beautiful. Okay. It's beautiful. Yes. But yeah. Oh yes, and lots of structure. Once you get there, you need to look at the things that you used to think that you were afraid of, or that you were bad at, and ask yourself why. I've been asking myself that in terms of the subjects that I chose to steer away from, but those subjects are very much in my face right now. Science, accounting, but it's not bad because I wasn't bad at them. I think I just chose not to do them because I didn't want to be the one left out doing it all by myself, you know. So I just told myself, listen, you're bad at it, but honestly I'm not. So sometimes you just have to grow the fuck up and like really just talk to yourself and be like, why? You sure? You're okay, girl. But yes, that's my 2 cents on the age of 35. I hope you guys have such a beautiful, beautiful day. And thank you for watching.